like my parents would take me along, but little did I know that I would actually be on that stage one day, because
your environment was shaping your inspirations
exactly.
and casting seeds of
Yes.
destiny.
Yeah. I used to shun away from every opportunity that came in that aspect. Becoming characters, living with characters, and way back when I was younger, I wanted to be so many things. My mom wanted me to be something, my dad wanted me to be something, I wanted to be something. But the arts, film in particular, gives you the opportunity to be whatever
anything you want. That's the power of theater and film.
100%. Know who I am, but sometimes you want to explore so many different things. You have mixed and mingled with so many different people. You want to try out and be and see where they come from, who they are, what they experience, and the fact that acting or film gives you that much power
of influence.
Exactly. And to tell, like to live somebody's life, to tell their perspective, because believe you me, everyone is right from their perspective. So you can never understand why someone does something until you are there.
Preach, Monica.
You
Preach
get
it,
it.
preach it.
Kind of suppressed over the years. The rage. Some of us, because you're going to live a character that is either extreme in certain emotions that you have been suppressing all the years. So digging deep to get there is a process. And when you get there, getting out is also a process. That if you do not, some people lose themselves.
Yes, I was coming to that. Mental health in film and acting.
Welcome to Ask the Author, a show about inspiring stories and conversations by creatives and all forms of art, music, movies, visual art, authors, creative writing, poetry, dance, culinary art, among others. Brought to you by the multi-award-winning author, life coach, and poet, Richard Mwebesa.
The Patricos, the Abe Muchibis, the Ruth
Kalibala. Those are the legends.
Those people are legends. Remember?
Of theater.
Exactly.
Yes.
And these are people I had
Bad
watched at
growing
Valley,
up.
growing up. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yes. As an actor as well. Monica, hold it there. The show is not about famous. It's about you, but hey, this art. This art. Somehow you go, but then it brings you back.
Yeah.
You see, when you're the way God does things, when God has purposefully made you as such, your purpose will always magnetize you and draw you into certain spaces, whether you like it or not. Now, when I'm at university, my first degree, Jacobs Bwirinyo, I was very active in the performing arts. Yeah?
Very active.
Very active. I enrolled for Bachelor's of Management Science, but the arts were always drawing me somehow. So I was very active in the performing arts. So I had a friend, a roommate who was called Jackie, who had a roommate who was into Bad Valley, was in the lighting system. So I used to get free tickets to go watch the Afro Talent. So somehow the acting frame kept drawing me back. So the patron came as a CSA casting agent with costumes for the Chambogo University Performing Arts. arts. He was head of department for the arts. Yeah. So when they came, the last king of Scotland came and they were consulting him on fabrics. Yeah. So he's like, Richard, there's an opportunity here. You're the guy in the space. Why not go? So he wrote a note for me. I remember Mr. Kimani gave me a note. So I went to Lugogo. That's why they were doing the casting. Yeah, so I go and the casting associate and the agents get profile me, and then voila, that's how I go into Last King of Scotland.
Wow.
As an extra, not a
Regardless.
special. As an extra. Yeah, true story. Yeah, David on camera is surprised. Yes, I acted in the Last King of Scotland. True story. I remember that time was Makerere University at the what's it called? The field right at Ivory Tower. That's where we were doing the costumes, makeup, changes. Yes, and then of course, how would you go to Forest Whitaker? You can't go near him. Those were the big. He was the main celebrity of the time.
But at least you were in the same
film. Yes. So somehow art, as I said, as you're telling your story, I remember you are unlocking memories in me that art somehow always draws you in these spaces.
Yeah.
The environment somehow kind of draws you in. So when I was doing music, first video song got nominated to the Palm Awards. So the guys who were shooting it, as in always the music spaces, production, studio, as to, because there's no distinction. People who are producing gospel music are the same who produce, because the same producer, video or audio. So you always somehow in those spaces. How I got to meet Bonnie as well was because in school, still art as the entertainment prefect. Yes, and one time he says, I want to take over from you, and that's how we connect. So art is never a coincidence, I would say. It's never a coincidence. So AfriTalent casts you, and then what role were you acting?
I was actually, my name was Justine.
You move in
my character,
yes.
And she was a student, and I acted alongside that guy. Oh my God! I was actually his girlfriend in that production. But he was way older, and then he was a nuisance at home. But his
maximum
character,
respect to him. Yes, these are the dawns of acting, theatre and film in Uganda.
I think on that set I learned so much. And that's when I got to believe, now, yes, I am in this space. Let me do this. Now I am really becoming, and I totally became.
I love what you said, become.
Yeah.
You're now there to become, to arrive. Purpose is now talking.
Yeah.
Because where there's purpose, potency unfolds. And where potency unfolds, you easily pivot.
100%.
The more you do, you sharpen your craft and you get visible and more seen. So basically you est it, as they say.
That was the like that turning point, and I'm like, this is it. I am meant for this industry now.
Why? Tell us more. Did it come to you naturally? What was your expression? What was the click for you to say, this is it, acting is for me?
I think it was at that point, because before I was doing it, and because
passively,
and the fact that the productions we were doing we were just trying. It was a hustle. Now, when I got into a more professional space, that's when everything
you were supporting character.
Yes, and how everything was being done, structured, purposefully, because this is a TV production. You get it.
How many series? It was like a series.
It was a series.
Wow.
And it was an amazing experience.
Wasn't that like hard work for you, coming in as a novice, or from amateur to pro?
Yeah. I at first I thought I had a lot to prove, but they made it very comfortable. And even just hearing from, I remember it was Ruth. She just said one thing. I love your character.
Man, being in those spaces, those are the legends of theatre.
And
when you have them coach you and mentor you, I hear you say it directly. No, I'm a coach, so I can
Oh,
filter.
peak.
Yes,
Yeah.
I filter.
So sometimes the indirect pushing
Yes.
or coaching,
Yes, coaching. Yeah,
means a
mentorship,
lot.
yeah.
Exactly. So
And also external validation from a person you look up to. You've been going to theater, seeing these people who are up there and they're now cheering you on. Yes, back
and it
home
wasn't
and say, do it.
like they don't have time for pity party and no, it
It's
was
work.
authentic.
Yeah.
And
they're pros, of course.
yeah, so it made it more evident and more purposeful. And then from there, more productions came in play, and yeah, it was a good place for exposure. Yeah.
Wow. So that was now a new space for you, and you began.
Yeah.
Take off.
Yeah, that was my take off.
Take off.
Yeah, and
what is your most exciting thing about acting, about film?
Becoming characters, living these characters. And way back when I was younger, I wanted to be so many things. My mom wanted me to be something, my dad wanted me to be something, I wanted to be something. But the arts, film in particular, gives you the opportunity to be whatever
anything you want. That's the power of theater and film.
100%.
Yes, your persona, creative latitude is the right word. It's the technical word, so we say in the creative space. When you're in film, creative latitude in terms of living the characters, the personas. Yeah, and as a marketer, we call it psychometrics. Other people say psychographics. Yeah, living those different profiles as you, and when you're acting film, that gives you scale in terms of diversity, and diversity gives propensity, and propensity gives acceleration.
Yeah, that's a poet. That's a poet. But
I hear you.
You are 100% right, because whether you like it or not, within us, there are so many different personalities, I would say. Yes, we have an identity. I know who I am, but sometimes you want to explore so many different things. You have mixed and mingled with so many different people. You want to try out and be and see where they come from, who they are, what they experience, and the fact that acting or film gives you that much power
of influence.
Exactly. And to tell, like to live somebody's life, tell their perspective, because believe you me, everyone is right from their perspective. So you can never understand why someone does something until you are there.
Preach, Monica.
You
Preach it. Someone wise man told me, Richard, never judge others, because there are different kinds of right. And that's what you call perspective. Different kinds of right. Don't think that your perspective is the right one.
We've all had the 6 and 9 thing.
Yes. Someone is seeing a 6, the other person is saying, and I'm right.
Exactly.
So what then? I accept that. I respect that. And art, in terms of film, does that for you.
100%. That you don't have to prove this is the way things are supposed to be done.
Only one
this
line.
Is the formula and whatnot. No. Try out different things and you will all discover that you're achieving the goal just from different directions.
Bringing diversity, I think if I give you the analogy of the rainbow, has 7 colors. If it had one color, it would be boring. Yes, so there's that diverse spectrum. Yeah, where there's the indigo, the gray. Is that green? No. There's indigo, there's violet. I'm forgetting my kindergarten training. But there's that diversity in the acting. So what would you say is the hardest thing about acting?
What I would call a challenge is the emotional drain, because it's a journey for you to become something you're not, or to dig an emotion that you had kind of suppressed over the years. The rage, because you're going to live a character that is either extreme in certain emotions that you have been suppressing all the years. So digging deep to get there is a process. And when you get there, getting
out
is also a process.
Yes.
That if you do not, some people lose themselves.
Yes, as coming to that, mental health in film and acting, we've seen people break down because they are digging wells, entering into other spaces for which they are not, and sometimes they get stuck there. They get stuck there. They burn out, not just burning out only, but they get a lot of character,
the bipolar
disorders, because they are digging into different personalities and personas to act and express that which they want the world to be and the character. So does that then make it difficult for you? Do you take any role in acting, or you have to look at the script and the roles first for you to choose to say this I'll do, this I'll not? Because you have to self-preserve, self-care matters also in acting.
Of late I am, but initially I would just take on everything, because it's a journey. When you get into film, you want to explore literally everything. You want to challenge yourself. We call them challenges. I want to challenge myself to the extreme, but at what extent?
Expense and extent.
Exactly. Are you ready for it? What price are you paying? Because when you look at it deeply, you're selling your soul.
By the way, I'm to say about it. I was going to ask that.
Yeah. Because your soul is your emotional state, your mindset, your
identity, your very being.
Exactly.
As you. Because I always say thoughts from thoughts, ideas, actions, repeated habits, behavior, character, personality.
And that's why we call them characters.
And that's where who you are. That's why they're called characters.
Exactly.
Yes, it's not a coincidence.
You give it life.
You create.
Life.
You're creating things. That's why you are creative. You're creating an identity. I've seen actors who are being waylaid on streets and beaten because they acted a character and people believed them.
Yeah.
Yes, they believed them and thought that's who they really are.
I remember the Icon Awards Patience also. Thank God we were, she was presenting the award first, and then I was going on stage next. So we were backstage together, and before she went, I remember one person making a statement and telling her, you are the most, actually it was Eddie Kenzo, he said, you are the most hated person in Uganda. You used to be when we used to watch the Nigerian films. But we were told, you're actually a very nice person.
Yeah, people would believe what they see.
Exactly. Yes, and the question to her for me was, how do you draw the line from being the character that is so wicked, yet in real life you're a Christian?
You're a Christian and a loving person.
Exactly. And there's a saying
those seeds, don't they stay in your heart?
Yeah, but she was like, I have to draw the line. I know who I am. But that comes with maturity and digging so deep and understanding who you truly
but then you're selling a character out there. You're selling an idea. You're selling because you're influential. Remember the aspect of intentionality. You're influential. There are people who will see you and you inspire them badly or negatively.
Exactly.
Yeah, in the world, because people may not filter. Yeah, and say, this is film. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that intentionality, choosing your roles for the identity for which you are likely to be, to influence others, and people believe actors, and art has power.
I think I made that choice to now filter and be very intentional on what I do or not do. When I was given a role of a seer, that's very spiritual. So taking on the role, I thought through it. It's a
series. Is it running or not yet?
It doesn't run anymore. But taking it on.
What was the name?
It was
to share with the audience?
It was called The Koja, and our Sister Love. And Sister Love, honestly speaking, just reading the character. And imagine I was called for that character when I was at church. And then I did not pick the call, but immediately I called. I had turned down all the other roles on that project, but this particular one was purposely made for me.
For you.
And the director was the director writer. He told me, I want you to take on this role. And we negotiated, the terms were now clearer and they were favoring me. So I took it on. So when I get the script, I read it and I'm like, I think this is a very challenging role spiritually. but let me pray about it. I did, but I was in the rush. Like there was no time to do it. Let me wait to hear good about it. But eventually I took it on. In there, I was torn between where do I draw the line to make this character spiritual from my perspective when the environment I'm in says otherwise.
Yes.
My space.
Well, there's a conflict.
Exactly.
Yes, a conflict.
My space had back cloth. It had the pipes,
the fetishes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how you could either take it the dark side or the light side. Intentionally, I decided this is not speaking for the character entirely. I am looking at this person as someone who is inspired by the Holy Spirit, a prophet. And because I was basically saying prophetic things and prophesying.
That was a complex one, because you see, not just drawing the line alone, as we say, acting frames are very complex. Yes, they are very complex. No wonder you celebrities and actors are well paid.
Especially what we go through.
Not enough. I know.
It's not even a
emotionally draining, because you have to. The time you're shooting people don't know when you're acting. The time they see that 1 hour, you've shot for years and years repeatedly, and you're living these as characters. Yeah. So as we come to the break of part 1, I would like you to tell us what is your favorite movie you've acted thus far, or series, projects that you've done in Uganda?
I would say I loved 5 at Home. It was by Fast Track Productions. They're the makers of the Hostel series as well.
What character were you playing?
I was playing a fiancé to one of a close friend to a family. So the family had 5 people, so that's why it was called 5 at Home. It wasn't a lead or it was a supporting, but even in supporting roles we have the levels, so it wasn't like the top supporting. But I love the character because the work environment was very, very professional. And then the character, I was given the liberty to create the character with the director.
You had the creative latitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
So for me, that gave me so much power, and it gave me the liberty. The other production, I would say, was a stage play. It was about men's mental health. It was called. It was about men's mental health, and it's actually recent. I don't know why I don't remember the title, but the director and writer was so in sync, and we would have conversations.
There was connectability. There was connection on set.
Exactly. Yeah. What do you think? Okay. Even the fact that it was about mental health, they really cared so much about our mental health. And for me, that is when I realized how important mental health is. Yeah. I remember having panic attacks. I had never had them my whole life, but I had them in that production because we were given the liberty to dig and understand the story so well that it brought out all the demons from people we knew. I remember having a conversation.
Which is the weird part in art.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was acting a therapist.
We as Christians, we ought to be very careful.
Very, very careful.
Yes, the roles we take on. Yeah.
As doing a therapist.
Yeah.
And because we were talking about something, and this person was confessing how they felt, what they went through, and at some point it related with a person I knew very closely, and I had to reach out to that person. We read the script together, and we literally
when you're doing what you call research. Yes.
We broke down
before
in the car together. It was
so real and fresh.
so
Organic.
real.
What we call organic. Hey.
Draining emotionally. I remember confessing, and I didn't know how bad that was until when I got the panic attacks, and I thought it was because
you're acting, yet they're now coming for real.
No, because we are spiritual. Believe you me, I was like, this is a spiritual attack.
Yes.
I even told the director, when I got the attack, it had never happened in my whole life. I started praying about it. I prayed the entire night. Had the Bible so close to me. But when I went back and had a talk with the director and writer, I told them, you know what, this book, you guys, this play is
there's something
about it.
Yeah.
And then he had to explain to me, and that's when he told me it's a panic attack you're getting, because he related that he had gotten panic attacks himself on a production as well, and it's because he was stuff.
I hear you and I agree with you. As a Christian, you pray always before you go on set, because you have to be careful what you're letting in. Remember, you're living characters. You may invite demons into your life unknowingly, saying that I'm acting. Hey.
These things are very spiritual.
They are very spiritual,
very
true story.
spiritual,
So you ought to be very careful and very cautious what you do on set as you're living your art frame. So as we come to the end of part 1, this is my third book, Piece of the Nile, about poetry. Do you love poetry?
I love listening to poetry.
Listening to poetry, yeah. I thought you would
reading on the other hand.
Read one. You would read one. Let me see. There's one called Lyrical Gladiator. One of my favorites in this anthology of 49 poems. The book is called Piece of the Nile, my third. It's just been cleared by the ministry, by National Curriculum Development Center. We taught in O-level and examined as well to support literature. So this one here called Lyrical Gladiator. Since you said you love listening, I can read it out for our audience. And then, let me go and see. I've not seen the book. Open the book for a while. Let me look at the table of contents. Lyrical Gladiator. Okay. Here we are. Page 35. Arts, creatives.
Oh, it's about creatives.
Yes, it is. It is. I wrote it in the frame and the awareness of art. Yes, being a lyricist. In my life, I said I used to write music and sing. Yes, so this is a Lyrical Gladiator, poem number 24, taken from Piece of the Nile by yours truly. Ta-da! Richard Mwevesa. Enter the arena. Lyrical Gladiator. The pandemonium runs in excitement. Your name they scream. In wait they lay to witness you shine. Assigned to decimate the narratives of failure. You know who you are, why you are here, and where you are headed. Ka-ching! Raise your esteem and head high. Useless words many say that you are forgotten. Blameless and never useless. Remember, within you is beauty like no other. Spread your wings and leap. Forget the painful moments when you were on a trip. Your homeless days are gone. You are alive and fresh again. Stretch out your hands and embrace your inner core. Forward you are headed. Color the rainbow with your words. Paint the ocean with your heart of love. Sing to the birds your heart out. This is your moment and there is no other. Lyrical Gladiator.
Nice.
Breaking off for part 1. When we come back, Monica, you're going to tell us more about the projects you've done. I know you've mentioned quite a few, and the other projects. You tell us your awards, accolades, recognitions, because I know there's quite a number you've been on, and of course, the audience wants to know who Monica is. They only see you on the silver screen, living through your characters, but they don't know what's your favorite movie, your favorite actor, internationally or locally here. They need to connect with you so that they get to know more about you. Like, subscribe, and please share this video with me. Welcome back to Ask the Author podcast. This is part 2 with Monica, the actress, director, producer, racer, mother, wife, all those many things, entrepreneur, etc, etc, etc. So Monica, you're still telling us about your craft. Any other movies you were a part of, series or movies or projects or theater plays that you're part of that you want to share with the world?
Currently, I'm working with Tingly Tours Production, and we do school literature. Yeah, it's more visual for people, for the children, school
Plays.
going. Yeah, the plays for them to remember and to ease their creativity as well. And
Nice.
then for series I've done.
Maybe sometime you will act out this.
I
Because
cannot
this poetry is now, as you know, cleared by NCDC, being taught and examined in all level schools.
I can't wait
Maybe
to
one
have
day.
that.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So
Other projects?
Other projects I've done. The Honorables by Beyond Borders. I've done The Kucha by Deal Stories. Shadows of Fate. Shattered Glass by Eminent Production.
What's the title of that movie you invited me to watch?
Was it Love Consequences? Twin is missing, right?
Yeah, Twin
Yes,
is
Twin
missing.
is missing.
Yes.
It was part of the nominations of UFF.
Yes.
Then Love Consequences got me a nomination for Best Actress.
As coming to that accolades, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What else?
Best Actress.
Yeah, Best
Uganda.
Actress.
Wow.
The Uganda Film Festival.
Film Festival. Wow,
Yes.
wow. What you could be?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the Hotel Mara by Atonga Media. We do voicing as well for Pali. Yeah, so we dub from one language to another. Yeah, basically I think that's what I can remember. Theatre plays the Sansanze. It was, oh my god, that was I think one of the best productions I've been on stage, because it
Which production house was it?
It was Beyond Borders. It was a John Segawa production, and it was timely.
Fit for purpose.
Fit for purpose.
It read the atmosphere.
Yeah, it was called Zanzanze, and if you can look out for it, please do. Yeah, The Voice of the People was also, it's a literature play, but it's also an amazing piece, and talks about what we are going through as a nation. And yeah, Ugandans should have come and watched it. We'll let you know when we're going to have it again. Apart from that, I also do motorsport.
Yes.
Yes.
Racing.
Yeah.
Ovuge motoka.
So
Sisusa chitufu ovuga.
yeah.
When you're racing.
So with driving, still I would say
Competitive racing.
yeah, it's competitive. I've not done very many
Races, that's fine.
events. Yeah, but for co-driving, I won a championship last year
Yay.
for
Wow.
best co-driver, second
Wow.
division.
Wow, nice.
Yes, and now I'm also graduating.
What car do you drive?
I currently it's now
The racing car.
it's a Toyota Corolla. Yes.
What series?
It's this one.
Or modified.
Yeah, they're definitely modified.
Yes.
But the one we won with last year was the Subaru Impreza N8.
N8, okay.
Yeah,
Those
so
people love cars and
cars
sports.
are very conversant with that. But now I'm also looking into the other aspect of officiating, and I happen to officiate in the World Rally Championship.
Wow, where?
Yes, in Kenya,
Kenya,
Safari
Nairobi.
Rally, yes.
Okay, nice.
And it was an experience. It actually
So you
shows.
mixed your art, craft of acting, communication into officiating the event.
Yes, and
okay.
With Motorsport helps me to release and relax.
Okay. Therapy for
it's
you.
Therapy. When you
Yes.
talk about mental health, do you have
Yes,
this?
yes.
Now, for me, Motorsport is therapy because it's a totally different world and it is more
Detox.
liberal.
All the things you put in for characters, you
I
flashing
detox
out.
from there, I flash out. Yeah, of course,
Yes,
plus
yes,
prayer and
yes.
asking for God to cleanse
Your
everyone.
mind.
Yeah.
Wow. So, favorite actor, Africa? Don't say yourself. Monica. Favorite actor or actress? The one you look up to and say, wow.
I would
They
say Rehema Namfuka. She's
Ugandan.
Ugandan, but brilliant.
What is distinct about her craft?
She takes time to really understand and deliver her story, her
She
character.
distills the craft so well.
And I think what also sets her apart, the fact that she's a writer.
Writers
have another feel to a character. Yes. They'll look at they'll do a 360 on a character. Because they develop the characters. Yes. Unlike an actor.
They frame the character, they structure them, then they empower them.
Backstory.
They feel the backstories, then they feel now the narrative.
Exactly.
Both subtle and the constructive narratives. I've not forgotten my theater thing. And I'm joking.
No, like for real.
I'm joking. So then, any other person you look up to
in Africa?
Africa.
In Africa, Genevieve is amazing.
Nanji, Nigeria.
Yes.
Would you like to have to feature in a movie with her?
100%.
Can we look for us as the author?
100%.
For real. Monica, when you see her, don't freeze. Don't freeze. Genevieve Nanji, if you're watching, or any promoter or producer or director, if you're watching, as the author, Monica here is talent, one of the finest talents in East Africa. Ugandan acting. She wants to have a movie with you. So one day, possibilities.
100%.
Remember, I talked about the book of Robert F. Schuller. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. He talks about possibilities. Never know. Out of Africa, one you look at and say, wow, or yo.
I love Viola Davis.
Wow, Woman King.
Yeah.
Plus a number of other. What about her?
She's very authentic. And she releases her emotions. You know, there's a tendency with actors trying to
hold back. Superficiality.
Exactly.
You be superficial in the character.
She goes
you're
1,000 past. She will release all the ugliness. That's what the scene calls for.
Okay.
Yes. I love also on the lighter note. Yes. I love Cameron Diaz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least she has a comic and humor on her characters. Yeah, but for the deep ones, I think I would go with Viola Davis.
You've talked about ladies only. Any other men you look up to and say, wow, Denzel Washington?
That guy will bring every character given to him is totally different. Yes, amazing.
He has diversity, not
diversity
in the roles.
In his roles. Africa for Men. Though he's in Hollywood. Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, Uganda. Nice.
He dug deep with his performance for me in Revolutionary and Get Out.
Yes.
Hands down.
Awesome.
Yes.
We love him in Wakanda. Forever.
No wonder he won an Oscar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
He's amazing. And he's Ugandan.
He's Ugandan.
So
yeah,
yes.
Of course. Why not? Yes.
Yeah, I think
that's
what
about Kasumba? Florence.
Yeah.
One of the they call the Dahomey warriors.
In Wakanda. Yes.
Yeah, Ugandan as well.
Yes.
Yes, those are breakouts out of Africa. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Nice. So, any last words before we go into the lessons? Young girl there saying, wow, when I grow up, I want to be like Monica. What would you tell them?
I would tell them there's a scripture in the Bible that has always encouraged me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Philippians, powerful verse. Nice.
Every time I was torn between, can I actually do this? Do I have to do that and the other? Because even in film, I don't only act, I do script, I do assistant directing, I do script supervision. So you ask yourself, can I do all that? Or should I just focus on one thing? But within you feel you are led to do that. So that's the script that works for me.
So the young girl, they are saying, I want to be like you. What advice do you give them up close and personal, directly into the camera? I believe you also saw people act, as you said earlier, and here you are. They're seeing you now, and as I said, there's a lot of influence in art. Acting now another level. People are seeing you from a distance, and they're saying that person is the one I want to be like. What advice would you give that young girl, or maybe a young man there, who looks at your work and says, "Wow"?
The advice I would tell them is pursue what you love. For as long as you feel led in that direction, please take the path. And everything that tries to deter you should actually propel you to do better and stay more focused. Because anything that doesn't have distraction you can't have purpose in something that is straightforward. Every time the challenges come, they're supposed to build you and make you stronger for whatever you're going to progress at, and also have a testimony at the end of the day.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Nice piece of advice. Favorite meal?
Chicken.
Luombo or regular? Or fries?
Chicken luombo.
And
netoke and katikombinyema.
Okay. Luombo.
Oh, chitegedde.
Nice. I heard you say Viola Davis, Genevieve Nanji. Acting with them would be
a
dream come true. Yeah. That would be fireworks for you one day. Dreams do come true. Yeah. Never know. Yes. So people, I recap 5 lessons at the end of Ask the Author show. Lesson number 1 I've had from Monica, and the director, producer, actor, and many other rally driver, co-driver, award-winning co-driver in rally. And one for me is the authentic you will only come out when you work and put in the time to be able to develop and design yourself and find the craft. Vantage point. What I say, vantage point. What is your vantage point? Things that come easily. You mentioned earlier that when you auditioned for that role on radio, you discovered that there's something that was in you that had always been there because of the lessons you picked when you were being taken by your parents to theater to watch others. Lesson number 2 is that dreams do come true. I believe it was never a coincidence, you being where you are now, silver screen, and giving what you do. Then lesson number 3, art is spiritual. 100%. Yes, art is spiritual. Let's be careful the roles we take in the art space, because we might just be signing off our will into things or into spaces that we don't know. So pray about every project that you do first, so that you're led by the Holy Spirit, especially as for Christians who've met Christ and known Him. Then lesson number 4 is keep sharpening the sword. Yeah, as Steve Covey in the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of those, he says sharpen the sword. If you want to get better at what you do, keep practicing, get better, improve yourself. Lesson number 5 is that where there's growth, there's mentorship and coaching. You You mentioned the encouraging words.
Yeah.
Was it Ruth?
Yeah.
Yes, Kalibala, telling you on set that you can do it, you can do it. And it's Isaac Newton, the discoverer of gravity, and arguably said who invented the laws of motion, and arguably said discovered calculus. The scientist, he says, if at all I've seen first because I've stood on the shoulders of giants, you cannot succeed alone. There are people out there who are routing for you, vouching for you and saying, Bamwe, 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 a chance, let them go in and do. I think lesson number 6 from what we've just heard is when you're given an opportunity, bring your A game. Yeah, because you don't know who's watching. And you mentioned it in your certain narratives that the other works and projects you got came from projects you had done before.
Yeah.
So you do this project, it unfolds, a director sees you, recommends you, and then another unfolds, another unfolds, another unfolds. In lesson number 7, which is the icing on the cake, you don't just take any role. First of all, see if it fits for you, if it aligns with your personal constitution, your personal values as a person, because acting is not an easy space to be. There's mental health in acting. People get depressed, people burn out, people get into places where they may not come out. They get exposed to other ailments like PTSD as they're acting the characters, bipolar disease, and many others, diseases of the mind. So it's a complex space to be. But when you put God first, which is my last and final lesson, you'll always succeed. And I would like you to repeat that scripture. You just said, I can do
all things through Christ who strengthens
me. Care sharing about your faith as well, maybe as the bye-bye.
Yeah,
you're Christian.
I am a born again Christian. Confess
Yes.
Christ as my Lord and Savior.
Wow. Yeah. It's good to have you on the show, Monica. I know inspiring to many. Genevieve Nanji, Nigeria. Talent is here. You need to have a collab with Ugandan talent. We'll look for you until we get you. Thank you, people. Subscribe, like. Bye-bye until we meet again. It's been a pleasure. Feast of the Nile is now the bookstores, Aristoc International Airport at the Transit Duty Bookstore, and mahiribooks.com, on amazon.com, on africanbooks.com. Please, if you want to get a copy of these schools, headmasters, directors, you can go Google and get copies for yourselves in Aristoc and the places I've mentioned, or look for my handles on Facebook, Instagram, and you'll be able to access this book. Masterpiece, masterpiece, masterpiece. Until we meet again, bye-bye.